Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's time for some good old classic ILIAD esports action Overwatch 2. It's the FaceIt League Masters Division, and it is, in fact, ILIAD Artemis versus Amplify tonight. My name is Musy. I'm joined here by Hippie and Headrammer, making sure that they can keep everything up and going, lights on, cameras on, and keeping me in place. May or may not have tied me to the chair to make sure that I don't scramble out and about to wherever I may go. But enough about that and my dire predicaments. We're going to have a chance to check in on the teams that we have lined up for you tonight. Of course, it wouldn't be an ILIAD Artemis game without ILIAD Artemis themselves. It's all you know and love. A Duck on Quack, Pink Ray, Maverick, Industrial, and Marduk. So everything that we can expect from the classic ILIAD squad. But who are they up against tonight? It is going to be, like I said before, Amplify. We do have some new names, at least to me, but pretty up there in terms of quality. I mean, J-Man, Biz, Gap, Ewan, and Crazy Cat. And if it comes to the quality of names, the fact that your DPS can, in fact, give them the Biz, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. So I'm excited at least to jump into that from the mental aspect, right? It's all a mind game at the end of the day. But we're not fighting in the theater of the mind when we have a battleground very specifically planned and plotted out there for us. Map 1 coming at you. It is going to be Ilios. So pretty standard opening for the FaceIt League here. I think we're all very familiar with what this map can do, being that control map and giving teams a chance, I think, to really poke and prod at each other to figure out what they want to accomplish and kind of what they can get away with. I mean, it's the same talking point that I think I always bring up in every single Overwatch cast, especially with a team game like this, where you're just asking questions, right? What do you want to play? How do we want to play it? Well, what can't we play with, right, is going to be a big question we're going to ask pretty soon here as the bans are going to be swinging on through. Oh, look at that stinger. That's clean. ILIAD Artemis already taking off the board Tracer, which is kind of a big deal in my eyes. Still an incredibly solid DPS, able to shred down pretty much anything that she comes into contact with. Taking her off the board right away is kind of a big move in my eyes. So Amplify have a couple of options in return. I mean, we could still a tank or a support. Honestly, if I'm sitting over there on the side of Amplify things, I think you can maybe do something like take away the Winston. If you want to take away one meta pick, why not take away both, right? Like, let's just go crazy. Let's just get rid of everything and all of it, right? Otherwise, if you're planning on maybe holding on to a ban later down the line, another, not a throwaway ban per se, but just something generically good, like that guy right there. Holy cow, getting crazy and in it. So Hazard going to be taken off the board here, so no tank for the either side at this point. But I know ILIAD Artemis does enjoy their Hazard every now and then. So looks like we've got a lot of safety tape around the arena. I don't know how many Hazard puns I have. Luckily, he won't be on screen, so I have a little bit of time to think of it before it comes up. But that's going to be it for bans for us. Both of these teams are sitting at about 5-3 right now, tied in the rankings. So you can expect a pretty close match, honestly, between the two. Map 1 isn't always like, you could say, oh, if you lose map 1, then you're going to end up losing a lot of momentum. It could all end there. But like I said before, it's always about asking questions and figuring out what do you want to do. So map 1, in my eyes, at least, is a great, not a toss away, but kind of a moment to experiment and try stuff out. So it'll be interesting to see if the team that walks away with it wins. Can they build up enough momentum where the question just becomes, can I stop them? And instead of anything like, well, there's no talking or answering here. It's just everything held up at gunpoint. So should be fairly interesting to see there. I'm going to go ahead and take a look over here really fast too, because I could swear that's different from what I'm used to. So just knowing what some of the players like to pull out from their hats, I'm not as familiar with Amplify as I am ILIAD Artemis. So Gap, I'm almost expecting Ramatra because it looks like they tend to favor that pick as well. Tracer, that ban from ILIAD Artemis might have well been a target ban just because Biz likes to hang out on that Tracer pick quite a bit. So kind of keeping them on their toes and forcing them into something else before you let them establish that rhythm and get comfortable. Beyond that, it'll be kind of interesting to see what compositions come out and about. I mean, I'm gonna a little peek behind the curtain here, right? I mean, we had Save the Soul Society Ichigo character come out, and from there, at least in my head, it's been kind of like where do all the pieces fit? So I'm always curious to see what high level players, especially masters level players, are up to in the grand scheme of things, and showing us if there's any new ball, new tech, new court to get into. But before we get into all of that, I'll save your ears and my lungs. We're going to take it to a quick break, and ILIAD Artemis Esports, we're going to be right back at you in just a second. And what a thrilling and exciting conclusion of that last map. We're going to jump right into the next one. So first, we're going to take a look at the bans. Amplify, going to take Juno off the board. ILIAD Artemis taking a tank off the board. It's going to be the Sigma. That won't be in the mix. So looking to take away a bit of that shield action, no CC, and of course that giant AoE ultimate. Juno will be gone, so no circles of dashing, and Sonic the Hedgehog over here, that dyed hair, is going to have to stay in the back for now. But where are we headed is going to be the big question that we ask next. It's going to be ILIAD Artemis versus Amplify. We'll have it out for you in a little bit there. I do have word back at the shop. I do have spies that are telling me what's going on in the background. I can't tell you that ILIAD Artemis was able to take the map over Amplify in game one. It was a 2-0 that they walked away from, so that talking point that I had before of what kind of questions are we asking? Well, we will only know the answers and not the question. And the answer is ILIAD Artemis says we want that W. So having that quick 1-0 in the grand total of things is going to help put them towards that. However, you have to remember that Amplify and ILIAD Artemis are very similar in their standings, right? Not even very similar. They are exact in their standings. The numbers are the same. So even though Amplify takes a bit of a knee here, I still think that they have a very solid chance of bringing it back against ILIAD Artemis, even after not being able to hold up too well in that 2-0. Could have been a very, very close 2-0, but we'll have a chance to get into game pretty quickly here between the two teams. And finally, we will know for sure who will be out on top and will be in there for real this time. FaceIt will not deny us the sick and sweet plays between these two titans of the industry, the masterminds of the battlefield, ILIAD Artemis and Amplify. Check out that scenery. I have a villa right over on the right there. The 2-story one, right next to that train car. That's mine. Yeah, I'm a landowner. It's no big deal. Let's go in and jump into it. So, Duck on Quack's gonna be running the Bastion. What's happened since I was last here? We'll get a chance to see if they actually commit to any of these picks before they get a chance to pop out. The push map is where we're gonna be, and I like push map, but it's so interesting because we actually don't get a chance to see this in map 2. It always feels like this map comes later in the set. So, Amplify says, we don't want to play the control angle. We want to play for the fights and the push. There's always some shenanigans you can do with the bot, you know, get it across a point and just stall it. That's a little closer towards the end of the game. We got 10 minutes to figure out what's going on there. Save the Soul Society, Ichigo herself. Incorrect. Gonna be rocking the lady with the big sword. She can do quite a bit of damage as well once she gets that ult charged up. Biz in the middle of the Biz gets picked off though. Won't have a chance to activate any of that damage. Hanzo as well, and we are sticking with that Bastion pick. A lot of projectiles to be had between the Orisa and the Bastion, laying down an impressive amount of suppressing fire as ILIAD ARTEMIS will take control of the bot for an initial push here. So, I've always had a few misgivings about Hanzo just because I feel like her ultimate is not always the strongest thing to have, especially into something like an Orisa, just because she can keep herself so tanky and so healthy with that Fortify. So J-Man's gonna have their work cut out for them in order to get the proper use out of that. Not something that Duck on Quack or Pain are gonna have to worry about. Their ultimate's pretty easy to use and pretty easy to just throw out there. Nothing up quite yet. Speaking of ultimates, the Baptiste ultimate, Crazy Cat's gonna have it up pretty soon. I like that. For this Amplify squad, being able to set it up, set an Orisa behind it, suddenly you're gonna be racking up a whole bunch of damage. ILIAD ARTEMIS, as much as they've been able to push forward, they've been stopped. So this turn is kind of a doozy. Once ARTEMIS can break through, it'll look good. Marduk, Kitsune Rush is out. Get quite a bit of damage off the Orisa as well to follow up. Gap trying to close the gap, but Amplify just cannot stand up to the might that is ILIAD ARTEMIS. It's the horse difference. That is a robot horse and not a real one. Maverick will be able to overtake Gap there, but for all the work that ILIAD ARTEMIS put in there, Amplify does not actually give ARTEMIS too much ground. Biz is able to clean it up for a bit, and Amplify takes control of the bot. And all that off the back of just a single Kitsune Rush. I mean, Maverick and the crew, the rest of the ARTEMIS is gonna have their ultimates up pretty soon. The amplification wall did come out there from Amplify. Looks like Gap was able to get there going as well. Ult economy favors ARTEMIS in this push. There it is, beat drop. Hanzo ult as well. Biz drops the business with their ultimate. Able to get quite a bit of value. But so far it's kind of back and forth. Biz finds themselves with another pick, gets themselves back into the mix of things. J-Man picks up one for themselves. Amplify walks it back in. ILIAD ARTEMIS, I mean, they started that fight off pretty solid. You had that beat drop to really get the ball rolling, but unfortunately they just weren't able to quite find the picks that they needed. I really gotta credit it to the fact that Biz was able to get just a ton of damage off there. Amplify is gonna catch up to where ARTEMIS is here in the grand scheme of things. There's a beat drop there from Amplify. So they're gonna start to go in and maybe look for a couple of picks. Mardo gets picked off. Ewan finds Maverick as well. So the push is good from Amplify, getting pretty close to that marker. 2 meters and beyond, they touch it. Now it's gonna be the push of getting around that bend. They've got a pretty solid push to make it happen because ARTEMIS isn't here to stop them. This is looking like it's gonna be a forward spawn for Amplify. They'll have it. And now they have to fight around yet another bend here, but this one favors Amplify just because they'll have that forward spawn to go with it. J-Man finds the pick. The Orisa ult as well. Maverick getting into the mix there, getting some damage off. They'll find quite a bit before Biz slashes them down to size. Now Biz trying to get in there for themselves, wondering who they can find, but the rest of ILIAD ARTEMIS has backed off and has gotten away with the bot. Running it back over to the other side of the map. So while Amplify was able to have that forward spawn, they'll hold it for a bit. Because ILIAD ARTEMIS still has to get past this turn as well that they were stuck on before. Hello. Duck on Quack letting us know that waving out there to the fans. Autographs are happening after the match, but not during. Giant slash through. Doesn't quite find the mark that they want though. Death still hitting the board. Hanzo and the Kitsune Rush coming out there. J-Man looking for the shots, but it's not enough. Bot does touch the forward spawn in favor of ILIAD ARTEMIS. Hanzo in a bit of a rough position, cannot find their way back out. Again, one of the part of misgivings that I have with Hanzo. When they are stuck in the business, they are stuck in there. Not a whole lot of places they can run away towards. Duck on Quack. Can't land the shots, that's okay. Floofy is there to back them up. ILIAD ARTEMIS trying to keep the pressure on, but we're losing quite a bit of people to make it happen. It's just Maverick and Duck on Quack. Now it's just Quack on Duck. He's got to duck on out of there. Back to safety. Forward spawn was gone for ILIAD ARTEMIS. And a little bit of a push. Not too much, not even a meter. But 4 minutes left on the clock. Not even a meter is all you need. And that's just simple math. Come around this bend, Amplify, wondering what their plan is to go in there. J-Man did switch off of the Hanzo and moved over. So we'll have a little bit more of that hit scan DPS that we all know and love. Some grenades as well. A lot of solid area control. It's already coming in handy as Pain's gonna take the deep dive. Sucked in by the Orisa. Amplification Matrix out as well. Crazy Cat trying to get some shots off, but ILIAD ARTEMIS falls back. The question is, what can you do? Maverick stuck against the wall. Somebody help out that Orisa. Biz gets hit with it, charges up the slash, and lands it. Down goes Floofy. Amplify running it down. They gotta get that bot to the forward spawn. ILIAD ARTEMIS has to fall back for the meantime. Gap chases him off. Amplify takes the lead away from ILIAD ARTEMIS. Gap launches a javelin. Sign that person up for the Olympics right now, I'm telling you. Just make sure you don't have anybody on the opposite side of that spear. Good lord. Quick glance at the ult economy. Gap's gonna have their ultimate, but no support ultimates here for Amplify. Could be kind of tricky, because we do have Kitsune Rush available for ILIAD ARTEMIS. The question is, can they get there? High ground looking pretty good for Amplify. Gonna have to seed it pretty quickly. Duck on Quack, finds a pick onto Biz, and there's the ultimate from Gap. Kitsune Rush out of ILIAD ARTEMIS. Important, but what can we find? The answer, quite a bit. As the tank and the DPS go down, can the rest of them clean it up? J-Man finds the pick, trying to slow down Artemis's push here. They invested quite a bit into this fight, but they have to walk away with even more. Maverick pulls it up, double kill, walk that bot on back. 2 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. Neck and neck between these two teams right now, but Amplify is a head and shoulders above. Maverick soaking up quite a bit of damage. Amplify putting up a pretty strong defense. They don't want to give up this bot's position too much, and this is part of the mind game you can play with the bot here, because if the bot's in a position like this in about a minute or so, it could spell a lot of danger for ILIAD ARTEMIS. They're gonna have to walk it back even more. But they don't care. Oh my goodness. My fault. Here I am talking about the intricacies and the nuances of a bot push, and Duck on Quack only has murder on his mind. I didn't know that you moved like that. I'm sorry. But the point still stands. For all the damage you were able to put out there, they still can't maintain control of the bot. Amplify is going to start walking it back. But if a flank maneuver coming out here from ILIAD ARTEMIS, 2 people left behind to try to harass Amplify from the sides. But with that harassment, what can you get? Trying to funnel them into a corner. Crazy Cat's got the Matrix. Nobody else from Amplify has ulti yet, but Ewan's gonna have that beat drop coming up pretty soon. There's the Matrix. Duck on Quack pops an ult of their own, but they get popped out by J-Man. Not a great start for ILIAD ARTEMIS. You do have the Orisa ultimate you can pop out, but what does it matter when J-Man's finding heads, putting them on pikes? Orisa's not the only one who can throw here. But it is the one that can matter as Maverick walks away with the double. The Orisa walks up, maybe wondering if they can get a bit more. J-Man on the scene, and Gap takes down Floofy, turns it back around on top of ARTEMIS. Monarchs lives forever, by the way. Maverick as well. Not long enough, unfortunately, as they are going to get scooped up and put away into a box. 30 seconds left on the clock. Amplify seeking to keep the bot in kind of a neutral space, if only so that ILIAD ARTEMIS doesn't get a chance to touch it. We're playing for space, we're playing for time. Symmetric pick out from Pain, just to try to get into the mix there. You got the Bastion that's come back as well. We're giving up our perks, we're giving up our ults. We just need to get a bit more. Teleporter off to the side, get the Bastion in there, trying to stay alive, but the beat drop is gonna be enough to deny all that damage. Duck on Quack, all the bullets just get soaked up. The fight looks pretty good for Amplify. More than pretty good. It's looking pretty great. Even beyond the overtime, it's gonna be Amplify that walks away on top.
Can't outrun the wolf.
I told you. Gotta be careful. And just because ILIAD ARTEMIS walks away with a 2-0 in the first map doesn't mean that the magic can repeat itself, right? You still get the sick Vendetta plays here. Vendetta plays from Pain. Is it a big boy ultimate? Save the Soul Society? Oh yeah. I mean, Duck on Quack was able to get the last hits there, but it really was Pain was making it happen. But Amplify, I feel like they played that really well. I really appreciated the fact how they were able to hold off Artemis for quite a while on that first push. That round the bend was such a doozy to be able to play into. I was a little bit of a Hanzo, non-believer at first, but maybe it got its value a little bit here. But once we were able to make that switch for J-Man, oh my goodness, they were able to just get so much damage off, and being able to get that last bit that they need with that railgun. I mean, that's what makes the difference, being able to pick off the supports or a low health tank that's kind of hanging around the bend. So, I mean, both of these teams are 5-3, and I think it just goes to show that they are pretty evenly matched here as we sit here 1-1 so far. So I'm excited for even more, but the question does come to you, Musi, where do we go after this? Nowhere. Well, we stay here on our seats. The players are gonna be headed over to the next map. Where that is, only I know, until you're allowed to know. Welcome to knowing and understanding. Seeing is believing. We're going to Dorado, and I like Dorado here. Solid, the hybrid map, being able to get your push off, or it's not a hybrid map. Am I insane? It's a push map. It's an escort map. Sorry, I saw Dorado and I was like, yeah, King's Row, everybody's favorite map, because that's what I'm used to seeing. But we do still have our escort map out of the pool. Again, that push map in map 2 is still kind of getting to me a little bit. It's still a little freaking me out that we saw it so soon. But now that we know where we're headed, we know that we're going to be in Dorado. The question is, who do we get to play in Dorado? What are the bands that we have coming at us? Well, think no more about it. Just look at that cool stinger and check out these sick graphics. ILIAD ARTEMIS. Going to take the Ashe off the board, so no hit scan love, which I really feel like J-Man was looking really good being able to get those hit scan shots off. So taking off a character like Ashe on this map is really good too, just because she sits so well on like that high ground, her ultimate being able to throw another body into the mix. I like that ban away. Amplify is going to take away the diva, so making sure that they can maybe keep their backline a little bit more protected. Maybe they can play with a more dangerous backline so that you know that you won't be dived as much, right? But that's all extrapolation. That's all guessing games and meta-analysis and this, that, the other. It's all a bunch of nonsense words. You know what matters? At the end of the day, playing some freaking video games. Let's get into that map. Oh, yeah. That's my bank. Banco de Dorado. Dilo would kill me if you heard that, so don't let him know. Amplify is going to be here on the defense. ILIAD ARTEMIS coming here onto the attack. Remember, it is 1-1. Here in the FaceIt Masters Division. These teams pretty evenly matched. They were looking pretty evenly matched before, so. An escort map by any other name is just a push map? Question mark? Business hanging out on the roof? I saw that musical, Vendetta on the Roof. It was something like that. Gap is going to be on that Sigma. So we know why that Sigma was banned before. Maverick's over here on the Hazard. So everybody gets to play with the toys that they did not have in the last couple of maps. Duck on Quack. You got one of those in you? Unfortunately not. A little bit of a hit marker, but nothing that we're looking for. I like what Sigma does here for Amplify as well. Being able to throw out that shield on top of that high ground, but grab yourself a little bit of time. Marnox and Floofy are going to be on kind of interesting support picks here, but I like it. Feels very forward, very aggressive, works very well with your Hazard just to enable some W key gameplay, especially another melee character to help maybe deal with this Vendetta. Oh, Pink Ray in the nick of time stops poor Floofy from getting quartered against the wall. I read that story on AO3. It went a little differently, but so far, ILIAD ARTEMIS, kind of an easy push here through the first point. If you're not able to hold them in that first, few meters there, holding them anywhere else does get a little bit tricky. Ewan picked off by Maverick, wondering if they can find a little bit more. The Hazard pick looking pretty solid. You know why they love it. The Vendetta is able to find Pink Ray, cause a little bit of havoc in the background. J-Man finds a pick on the way out, but ILIAD ARTEMIS still touches that first checkpoint. plenty of time left to play. 5 minutes on the clock.
Bonjour.
No ultimates coming out just yet, but I am looking at that Kitsune rush. But also, Gap's gonna have theirs up pretty soon. If they can find a couple of big boy picks with that, it could be solid. Or they could get jumped on by 3 people. That's tough. Feels like ILIAD Artemis have been able to find a bunch of picks. Amplify have not been able to rally together quite yet. I mean, Biz is able to find some picks here and there, harass the backline a little bit, but because you have, you know, I really feel like the Brigitte is able to kind of help save herself, as well as our Fox Lady being able to Suzu at your feet, jump over to friends. Like I said, knowing that you don't have to deal with the D.Va, it's just an extra layer of protection. Speeding our way towards this second point. There it is. Sigma ult as well, but a good Suzu denies quite a bit to Gap, who's not going to be left all by themselves, walled off and away, trying to get some damage off, but Maverick is there to deny a team kill. ILIAD Artemis walks it down. Another 5 minutes in this last point, and still a lot of good toys to have in the back pocket. Vendetta ultimate, got this Hazard ultimate as well. Amplify is going to be looking at a Kitsune rush and a Dream. Maverick playing for space, trying to deny Biz entry, just kind of being that annoyance. Before they realize Amplify has taken the high ground, goes into the back, finds J-Man. What if he can get a little bit more? Kitsune rush out, and a big slash from Biz. We'll find quite a bit there, but not quite what they're looking for. All the while, though, ILIAD Artemis are walking that payload down. All the scuffling happening in the top, but who's looking at the payload? ILIAD Artemis is looking at the payload. They're walking it on down. Maverick still has ultimate. You've got another Q button to press. Carry us through another team fight if it comes to it. Can't Amplify touch in time. They're on there. But as much fighting as they're trying to do, they cannot stick with it. Baptiste next on the chopping block. How long can you survive? Not long enough. ILIAD Artemis absolutely cleaning it up here. One after the other, Amplify walks in, but it is not enough. Round 1, done and dusted. Holy cow. Did the payload ever stop moving? That was insane. It really felt like Artemis just had this forward momentum, and Amplify never had a chance to recuperate, to regroup. Which is so interesting to me, because they were looking so good on that last map. But, you know, nuances and dynamics, it is, you know, for every bit that is similar, there's so much more that's different. But it really did feel like ILIAD Artemis just kind of hopped on the train and just did not stop moving. It's going to take another game like that from Amplify if they want to be able to stand up against the ILIAD Artemis train. 4 minutes left to play with if it goes to overtime. That is a lot. That is a lot, considering it took a minute for the first point, a minute for the second point, and then a minute for the last point. I've already made one Sonic the Hedgehog joke, and I'm limited to 2, so I'm holding on to the other one for legal reasons, but this could have been a place to put it. I'll just say you'll have to follow me along there. ILIAD Artemis. A little bit of a switch up here, right? Looks like we've got the Lucio there instead of the Brigitte, and the Freya as well. J-Man's gonna be rocking that Widow pick, Zarya, and the Juno there for Crazy Cat. Okay. Vendetta as well. J-Man switches off. That makes sense. You look to see if you can find your pick, and then you kind of move on to something else. Who do we got? Cole Cassidy. That's a cool gun. Holy crap. That's Aura. But is the Aura enough to scare away Artemis? Biz gets in there. Can they find the pick? Big old circle slash. They find Marduk's in the back, but Pankering, Duck on Quack already found their damage. Maverick corners Biz against the wall. And okay. Rose just got spiked off the side of the map. We are playing Smash Brothers. A rough start here, but Amplify does get a chance to recoup before they go back in. Maverick holds onto the high ground, jumps into the back. Pain solid movement with this Vendetta. This character does not have wings, but boy, can they fly. Straight into the back, looking for the support. Stuck on Quack, finds a couple, and Floopy cleans it up. Biz tries to fight back for their team, and even though they find 3, it's just not enough, because Mardox is here as well as Pankare. Bladed weapons duo. Oh, wasn't able to get the TP off. Caught out by Ewan. Now it'll be a solid push here for Amplify. I'm not gonna lie, if I had the gun that J-Man has right now, I wouldn't be able to stop spinning at the moment I got it, so shout outs to the fact that they remember to shoot bullets. Oh, hello, from the top, from the ropes! Oh, pain. Not able to find the damage that they need, end up getting left behind by their team. Freya throws out the ultimate, the Bolas doesn't really find the mark that they're looking for. ILIAD Artemis defense crumbling a bit here as J-Man also finding a bit of value as well. Deadeye is ready, but when do we want to let it rip? We don't need to, baby! One after the other! Down goes a tank and a DPS from Artemis. J-Man's finally hitting their flow. Throws it around and everything too. Sorry, I'm as distracted as you are when it comes to looking at that purple. Thank you, cameraman, for keeping me on that, because that looks sick. But back to the game. Deadeye's ready. We find no kills, but we scare the crap out of Artemis, force them back away a little bit. Pankare goes up to the top, and you have Maverick as well getting in there with their ultimate. J-Man's pumping quite a bit of damage though. Artemis not able to find the picks. In fact, Floopy's gonna be the first one to fall down. J-Man finds a pick as well. Mardox lets loose that Kitsune rush, but it's a little bit too late to get the real value that you want out of it. Artemis is shoved back. Maverick just trying to play their life at this point, and it caused disruption to get back to their team. J-Man's picked off, but it doesn't matter. So Maverick's gonna end up paying the course as well. Biz just cannot stop moving. The floor is lava, and if this bus drops below 40 miles per hour, the bomb goes off. Biz takes that to heart and keeps it on schmovin'. Solid push so far for Amplify. Just keeping that momentum going, and that's what they're looking for. They have to be able to keep up or match pace with ILIAD Artemis. Artemis just cannot seem to stop him either. Duck on Quack doesn't get a chance to perform. Kitsune rush out in favor of Amplify. Beat drop there by Floopy. Zarya lets loose that grab, and it keeps everybody in place to get crazy damage off. Across the second checkpoint is Amplify off the back of a crazy Graviton surge from Gap there. Felt like ILIAD Artemis just had no response to it. 4 minutes left. Amplify's just got to make that last push in there, but Gap's taking quite a bit of poke. Has to fall back to the rest of their team. Duck on Quack has the knowledge. Can they act on it, though? A little bit of a Hanzo battle between the two. J-Man, very willing to switch between a lot of picks, and you know what? I can respect that. One of the core parts of Overwatch is just being able to change out your hero at will. Why hold yourself back? J-Man finds a pick, is looking for one of their own. Finds one, there goes Duck. Crazy Cat finds Pain. Looking really good there for Amplify, just gotta find one more. Floopy is down, Maverick shoved back into the spawn. Biz holding the line, begging, forcing anybody to walk up and play ball with them, as ILIAD Artemis is not there to defend. Amplify ties this up 3-3. We're going to overtime.
3-3.
So now, ILIAD Artemis was able to, within 1 minute of time, capture every single point. Amplify had a little bit of a rough spot, kind of like a false start coming out of the base there, but once they got that ball rolling, from like the second point on, it felt really hard to slow down that momentum. So if they can come out of the gates with that same momentum that they earned initially, they're gonna be looking pretty good. I especially like the Zarya pick here for Gap. I feel like it was kind of like an unsung hero until they land the Graviton and you're like, oh crap, that's a character. That's tank. Just going out there getting damage done, right? And it's interesting here to see. Oh. So, oh, Gap doesn't know what they want to play. That's all right. We're going to talk a little about ILIAD Artemis. Maverick's going to be hanging out on that Orisa. So we are playing for... Just hold him, hold the line. You got a big tanky horse to make it happen. I mean, Vendetta as well. You've got your backline pressure with that Vendetta. Even Lucio, if you really want to get crazy with it. You got 2 minutes left, Amplify, to make a good push. Can you earn back that momentum? Artemis holds the high ground, waiting for Amplify to get in there. Gap is going to be sticking with that Zarya pick right away. So we got that much going. Uh-oh, Duck on Quack, taking quite a bit of poke. Able to get a little bit of a heal up there. But it does cede some ground there to Amplify, who is able to start taking control of that high ground. That means ILIAD ARTEMIS has to take a couple of steps back. No deaths on the board quite yet. Hold that thought. J-Man's down. 1 minute left. Every life matters. Solid hit. Vendetta on the back. Lucio, you're a bit of duress here. And that's going to be one biz down. Duck on Quack takes down the Vendetta. So you got a minute left for Amplify. Still enough time to rally. The goal is, the goal is obviously to get it all the way through, but the goal is to get it as far as possible. ILIAD ARTEMIS came out of this first point like a greyhound out of a box. You gotta make sure you keep that finish line as far away as you can. Artemis is happy to hold right here, though. Pretty solid choke spot. Quack's got the bolas. Nobody else really close to the ultimate yet, so that's gonna be the decider for the team fight. Amplify waiting for their chance to go in. Quack just kind of holding this high ground. Now you're behind him. Throws out the bolas. Were we able to find Vendetta's in the mix as well? Quack hanging out in the sky, just throwing out shots in there. Who's gonna be the first one to fall? It's gonna be J-Man. Fluffy finds Gap. It's falling apart for Amplify. Can they rally? Can they hold it back? The tide. That is ILIAD ARTEMIS, but the answer is no. And Mardox is on top of everybody, stabbing in them a knife. Here, hold this. Right into the back.
Score 3-3.
Solid hold there from ILIAD ARTEMIS.
Sides.
He will not have to do as much work to be able to push through, but the fact that Artemis was able to hold here means that Amplify could do the same. Just have to remember, it's gonna be a long 3 minutes. Oh, good lord. For Amplify. Curious as to what the picks are gonna be. Do you play for that Zarya that you had before?
Ready for battle.
Something a little bursty? You wanted the long and hard grind. It's a soundbite. Artemis is gonna be sticking with what they know.
Listened to your album the other day.
I do like the hazard pick for Maverick especially, because if you're able to, because you don't have to push it as far as Amplify, right? I mean, 51 meters. It's not too much. That's a couple of team fights maybe. So Maverick on a hazard could jump all the way back into the backline and just try to take out either J-Man or Ewan, if possible. You mean Crazy Cat? They are going to be sticking with the Sarissa though. Payne's got the TP, so we're going for a little bit of a flank angle. Rush everybody over. Duck on Quack's got the Bastion. Let loose the hail of bullets, but as quickly as they find control of the high ground, they have not found any targets quite yet. Payne's coming back with the Vendetta. Orisa as well. Opted for the shield perk. I like that. All right, now we're behind them. Now we're gonna find picks. Who's it gonna be? Pincered in them is Amplify. A little bit of a switching of a role here. Hey, who's coming out of where? Wait a minute. Who left the lights on? And who's flying this plane? And who's shooting that guy? Duck on Quack cannot land. In fact, he's gonna end up falling down. J-Man finds a couple of picks as Biz is getting busy in there. Paincaray scouts out the people on the top of the building and falls right on top of the blade of Biz. It's a team kill for Amplify as they hold the line versus ILIAD ARTEMIS. And Artemis spent quite a bit of time trying to set that up. They went for the flank, they got their high ground, didn't pan out. Maverick's gonna switch over to the hazard, and this is where I think they should have started to begin with. Maverick's just gotta find the pick. They gotta take down J-Man or Crazy Cat. Those are gonna be the two big ones in my eyes. Especially J-Man would be ideal here, coming close to that ultimate, which is great in this scenario Hanzo ultimate's gonna be great. You only have to shoot it in a certain spot. They have to walk on that spot to get the win. But J-Man's dead. Quack finds a pick. Pain gets in there, tries to go for some big damage. Doesn't have the ultimate, but does have a giant sword. Gets Suzu'd. Makes a rotation around, trying to see what they can find. Getting their damage off, but they're ultimately picked off. Biz, the Vendetta above. And the Kitsune rush, that's gonna be for Crazy Cat. Amplify's got a great hold here, but Maverick is able to find a kill through it all. Biz with an ultimate of their own, as Gap takes down Maverick. So you got J-Man and Biz holding on to their ultimates. 50 seconds left for Iliad Artemis. If Gap is able to get an ultimate here as well, that spells doom for Iliad Artemis. The Hanzo plus Zarya ultimate combo, a tale as old as time, like mac and cheese and peanut butter and jelly. And it's not too far away. There it is. This has got that Vendetta ultimate out, finds Flumpy. That's gonna be good. Mardox and Maverick, though, they let the ultimates loose. This is gonna be enough to swing around this team fight. Maverick has to kill this Vendetta and is not able to do it. J-Man picks up Pankeray, and as Maverick tries to get into the business, they ultimately just get picked off. 10 seconds left to go. Iliad Artemis cannot make the push in. Amplify says, listen, we pushed the cart for as long as we had to. Grab Trap says you cannot walk past go, you cannot collect $200, and you cannot have map 3. Amplify is gonna walk away with it.
Play of the game.
Good lord. Hi, Cassidy. Oh, it's dark in here. I mean, what an impressive hold there from Amplify. Unfortunately, Iliad Artemis did not have the same zeal coming out of that one as they did before. I mean, it was crazy. They held him right underneath that bridge. Turns out, that's a tough spot. And it really came down to the fact that Amplify was able to get a couple of their ultimates up a little bit sooner. I feel like being able to get a Kitsune rush off pretty quickly, really solid. And the fact that Biz went almost unchecked. Like, this Vendetta was just able to do kind of whatever it wanted to, for the most part, I felt like. And Artemis was not able to just get the value from their picks. I told you it was gonna be a close one. I warned you. You're like, nah, it won't be too close. It's gonna be pretty close. I mean, I know it's going to 5. I don't know if you know that it's going to 5, but I can tell you. These teams look so good next to each other. It is no mistake why they have the record that they do. I mean, this is neck and neck at this point. Iliad Artemis does have a chance to turn it around here against Amplify, but they also stand on the precipice. I mean, this is match point for Amplify. One solid push is all they need to be able to walk away with this. So was that beginning map kind of a false testimony, a false sense of security for Iliad Artemis? Did Amplify set a trap from the very beginning? I don't know. But speaking of tourist traps, let's take a look at the map that we're headed to next here between the two teams. It is going to be Blizzard World. You like that? Those back at home, you can write that down. Tell it to your friends. Just make sure to credit me every time. So if they laugh, you have to go, yeah, Musi said that. I mean, who? It's all right. You want to know. You don't know ball like we do. Speaking of ball knowing, I can see the future. And I can tell you, I'm already a big fan of the bands that I'm seeing hit the screen so far. So, Iliad Artemis and Amplify. There are some problem picks on both teams. Artemis has a great response on their side. Take away the Zarya. And I said it before, kind of an unsung hero for them until the Graviton Surge hit, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. That's, it's got some kick to it. Ooh, it's got a little spice there to it, doesn't it? And especially at the end, denying that last push. Hey, that's just salt on the cake. It's another one you can take home with you. So if you're Amplified, you've got some options as well. Obviously, you're not going to ban away anything like the Vendetta or anything like that, just because it feels a little bit too core to the composition. So what are you willing to give up in order to get this last secured win? And what can you flex to? Knowing that you have the Juno, I think you could ban a support here. Right? ban a support instead of a DPS, and try to see if you can keep Iliad Artemis off their toes, knowing that you are going to fall back to a Juno-focused composition, especially for something here on Blizzard World. Granted, Amplify obviously has a lot to think about, because the pressure is mounting. You know? Two teams fairly evenly matched means that this could go either way still. Standing there, knowing that you can make that record a 6-3 instead of a 5-3, or you're going to be sitting there with that 5-4. No one wants to be middle of the pack. Everybody wants to be out there and be the best, and this is how you take that step forward and make it happen. But Artemis has been making them pay for every single step of the way. That first initial rush on the escort was wild from Iliad Artemis. Just wasn't able to repeat the magic, unfortunately. But knowing that you can play ball like that, it's pretty good. It's not too bad at all. Ah. Okay. I mean, sure. Widow ban here coming out for Amplify. So no one gets to play with the peekaboo monster herself. The blue-skinned assassin that is the Widowmaker. So, I mean, it makes sense. Both teams were like kind of using it, but also not. She showed up a little bit in the beginning. It doesn't feel like she sticks around for very long, but just taking away that option, right? Just trying to make sure that you don't shoot yourself in the foot, so you don't take away options for your own team and just try to disrupt what you can from the enemy team. I feel like Artemis's ban is a lot stronger here than Amplify's ban, but that is kind of the nature of the game. I mean, you show up with this crazy Zarya pick, what do you fall back to? I feel like Amplify does still have a lot of solid tanks to fall back on, especially because I know Gap really likes to sit around, or not sit around, likes to play around with the Ramatra pick. We haven't had a chance to see that. It's a comfort pick, maybe not as strong these days, but still has a place, right? Has somewhere that you can kind of fall back to. So Gap will be able to keep that in the back pocket, but Arissa has been looking very popular as well. I think they even hovered Maverick on one, or not Maverick, they hovered Hazard at one point. I think of Maverick and I think of Hazard. They're just synonymous to me at this point. But we know that there's a lot going on in the back pocket there. In any event, as we sit here, 1-2, Iliad Artemis Amplify, here in the FaceIt Masters Division Season 7. By the way, not Season 6. I think it's time for us to be able to head into some grander vistas, some better looking places. Overwatch players will tell you they know a spot. It's going to be here, right here in the Pylon Terrace. Many a good burger and other food to be had there. I'll warn you though, they charge you like $50 for a side of fries. I warned you. Tourist trap. Map 4. Let's jump into it. The Sigma. Oh, good doy. I knew that. Sigma there for Amplify to be able to fall back on. And the Reinhardt for Maverick. Let's get crazy. I love that. You never see enough Reinhardts in this day and age. Get behind me. Shatter is a really big, important tool. And if you've got Biz kind of hanging out and getting crazy in your backline, it's really hard to miss a hammer swing. I find a way to do it, but someone like Maverick, probably not. I especially appreciate, too, the support ultimates that both sides are going to have. Oh, I got baited. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, I was really excited for the Reinhardt. That's fine. Maverick just doesn't like me specifically, and that's proof. D.Va will still do quite a bit here, being able to put a lot of pressure on top of the backline. Duck on Quack, quite a bit of damage off there with their giant wood arrows. I've seen more Hanzo today than I thought I would see ever. Boom goes the dynamite. J-Man gets picked off. Duck on Quack has a solid flank here, but the rest of Artemis has yet to catch up. In comes the Vendetta, pushed off by the rest of the Iliad Artemis squad. So Rock hits Duck's face. Ay caramba. Quack finds themselves another kill though. And Biz, unfortunately, a lot of low health bars in the back, but they weren't able to capitalize and weren't able to get those last few hits off. Gap's gonna get shoved off, and it's gonna be a pretty solid cap so far for Iliad Artemis as they take control of the point. Talking about hybrids. Let's talk about some high bids. ILIAD Artemis has cashed out on theirs. Now the question is, can we keep the payload a schmovin'? So far, so good, right? And no ultimates had to come out for that fight either. This first push, in my mind, is particularly insidious, just because it's so... the geography feels so awkward. Weird bends, high ground disparity. You've got rooms to hide in the back. A lot of shenanigans that can happen. Pain finds a kill. Mardox has got their ultimate going, but we only find gap. Playing it safe, not overextending. Maverick loops around, goes for their shot in. It's all in favor of just buying space. He can keep that escort hug going. Amplify yet to tip their hand here truly. With the bolus coming online here for J-Man. Sparks are destined to fly. Oh my goodness. Down they go. Floofy caught the bad part of an arrow. This manages to find Duck on Quack in the back as well, so Artemis's push is going to be stymied just a bit. They're going to fall back and regroup. You gotta be careful. Don't let J-Man hit their flow, man. Because they have been pulling out some nasty shots. The DPS for Amplify, you gotta give them their laurels. Because they are looking great out there. And knowing that J-Man can play so many things, constantly switching characters, that's a scary thing if you're an opponent. Here's the ultimate. Enable Biz, give him a little bit of a shield. Tries to get into the back, but can't find a target. It's ILIAD Artemis that surged forward around the same time. Biz has got the ult. Not gonna let it rip. I cannot believe that Pain walked away from that. Insane. Crazy Cat also had their ultimate, but just not able to find the value. No one is dead yet. Something's gotta give, and there it goes. Biz finds the pick. J-Man follows it up. The rest of Amplify looking for a little bit more. Biz takes the sword, slams it down on top of Mardox. Now ILIAD Artemis is gonna have to crumble or fall back. Solid hold there from Amplify. You're gonna have all tools available for Artemis. I think Diva's switching. Throws out the bomb. Oh no, they did it for safety. Interesting. Maverick just didn't want to die. Gap's looking pretty good with the Sigma as well. Doing a great job of holding space. There's the Wu Yang ult. Onto Pain, into the back, finds Crazy Cat, but who else can you get? Everybody else is dispersed. Meanwhile, Gap trying to get their damage off, but they're flying high in the sky. Easy pickings for a Duck on Quack. Harried by Biz. Unfortunately, crossbows can beat swords given the right circumstances. It was a bloody push. It was a tough one. Artemis is able to push it through. Tell me it's real. Tell me Maverick sticks to the Ramatra, my big purple robot man. Blessed be the robot. Back looking for the off angle here. Let's loose the bolus. It lands on top of the Baptiste, but not the Baptiste. Oh, yes, it was. I'm losing it. Just like Artemis is. Boom. Give me big damage. Can they find it? The answer is yes. Down goes the tank, chasing down the Lucio. Pagray's gonna find another one. But can they satisfy themselves with two? The answer is no. They go for a little bit more. Spin to win. Beyblade. Let it rip. Forcing back Amplify. ILIAD keeps the point moving on forward. All that for a drop of blood. Quack's been pretty on it with these picks. They take down J-Man. It's up to Biz to make up the difference in damage, but who can you even go on? Runs to the Immor field. Got the ultimate now. Charging it up. Save the Soul Society. It you go find one. Pain Carre goes in for a little bit more. Chasing after the Wu Yang. They'll pick them off too. But the whole time this is happening, the point's getting pushed in. It's gonna be Maverick on there standing alone. One lone Ramatra against the world. Can he do it? No, he cannot. Actually, it's gonna be quite a bit for the Ramatra to stand up to, so we get a point of breath. Safety. for Amplify. 2 minutes left on the clock for ILIAD ARTEMIS to be able to make this last push in there. Got a little bit scary there for Amplify, but they're able to stabilize a bit. Maybe buy some time for themselves. Biz looks really good on this Vendetta. Holy cannoli. Oh, Ash ultimate. There goes the bomb. And Biz already getting back. Try to see if they can get a little bit more there. J-Man finds themselves a couple of picks. It's a support into DPS down for Artemis. Woo! Make it one more. Wilted Rose emoji. J-Man stops the competition. A minute 30 left for the push for ILIAD. The only trouble, J-Man did have to use ultimate to make it happen. Artemis is standing with quite a bit of ult economy here. Wooying ultimate, especially with Maverick. There's Duck on Quack. There's the Wooyong as well. Pain goes in. Cannot find a target. There's one. J-Man down. No more immortality field for you as well. Rush from Mardox. Arista blows him on in, but a good Suzu denies a lot of damage. Maverick's got their ults as well. The AoE, quite a bit to deal with. Fight's looking really good for ILIAD ARTEMIS. Bodies are hitting the floor. 1, nothing wrong with me. 2, go back to the spawn room. ILIAD ARTEMIS cleans it up. It's a team kill. And 48 seconds left on the clock. ILIAD ARTEMIS are able to find it.
Score 0-3. Switching sides.
If I've learned anything in the time that I've been hanging out with you guys on this game so far, that Vendetta goes crazy for both sides here. Pain and Biz. Good lord. It really feels like whichever Vendetta can get to the backline, find a pick or two. It's almost guaranteed one pick, but you can find another one even better. It really just makes the fights that much harder to deal with. ILIAD ARTEMIS is able to win out that last push. I'm gonna say mostly because they were just able to stack on like 4 ultimates or something like that. As good as J-Man looked off that push, or off that defense, I should say, right before the end, just wasn't able to keep it going for that last bit. Quick peek at the damage numbers here. Holy cow, J-Man 6,500. That sounds about right. That sounds exactly correct.
Strike without mercy, and victory will be ours.
They can click heads real good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now it's going to be Amplify on the attack. We're going to be rocking that Winston pick. The monkey jump. Question is, who are we jumping on? Like Wuyong able to keep themselves okay for a bit. Amplify soaking up a lot of damage just trying to get through this initial corridor. Artemis keeping a mix of high and low ground. Pink Ray tearing through that back line. Couple of picks is going to keep Amplify from getting too far forward. But just for added panache, why not? Why not just find a little bit more? Yum, yum, yum. When do we get a lightsaber skin for our Vendetta? Right? I'm just saying what we're all thinking. It's cool. Either that or like a Buster Blade. What other cool swords are there? There's got to be at least 2 other cool swords. A Shard Blade. Any Brandon Sanderson knowers? We're back in the mix. Artemis still maintaining a solid defense here. Amplify looking for their way in. That could be it right there. Quack finds Biz, though. That's gonna put a slow roll on that push. And Pain cleans it up. Finds a couple of picks for themselves. Oh, make it a 3-piece. Ay, ay, ay. 2.5 minutes left on the clock. ILIAD ARTEMIS holding on, and doesn't feel like they have to use too much to do it. I like the positioning here, especially from Duck on Quack. Because they're not hanging out with everybody else, they're able to find off-angle looks on top of this high ground. Letting Biz know when they can get a clear line of sight. Fullest in hand. Oh, looking pretty low, though. Mardox finds Crazy Cat. You still have the tools in hand. Biz able to put quite a pressure on top of Duck. Barely gets that hit in. And the Freya gets to stay alive. ILIAD ARTEMIS once again maintain their dominance on the region and keep the hold strong. So much put into Duck. Just was not able to find it, unfortunately. Now Artemis is going to be sitting with 5 ultimates. So now you have the question. You just let it rip? The answer's yes. It's a Kitsune Rush battle. Who comes out on top? J-Man says no more Pankare shenanigans. Freya Bolus has come out, but don't find the mark. Looking pretty good for Amplify, because they've still got a man up. It's time to use some of those ultimates. Wu Yang, Fluke Feet, lets it rip. Biz finds the pick. In turn, Gap's gonna go crazy 8 bananas and see what they can get. It looks like it's gonna be that point. All the tools in the world, ILIAD ARTEMIS, but none of them to be used in this moment. Jumps on top of the point. Diva's got the bomb as well. No bubble available for Winston. Who's gonna be able to block it if you let that rip? They don't want to use it quite yet. Still holding on to it. Biz picks off Pankare. There it is. Unfortunately, a little bit too late. Gap hangs out in the bubble. It disappears at the last second. Monkey down! The Diva bullies him against the wall. Biz doesn't get a chance to play the game. J-Man does have high ground, though. Just trying to get that last bit of damage in. Oh, but he's got it. Oh, my gosh. Amplify, find the point and bathe it in blood. Do it for him. J-Man's a monster.
Efficient design at work.
But now you've got the rest of the map to play. Take a breather. Deep breaths. Slow your roll. Or keep the pressure on. Gap getting up and in there. ILIAD ARTEMIS, I mean, they held out for quite a while there. Burned off a lot of time. 2 minutes is not a lot of time to push. J-Man under a bit of duress, but the rest of the team does come to help them out. In fact, they're going to be able to turn it on top of ILIAD ARTEMIS because down goes Pain. Gap tries to get to the high ground to see what they can find, but Biz is going to be the one to die for their sins. Stuck on Quack under a bit of pressure themselves. You have Bolus, but it's not going to save you. It's going to leave Maverick all alone. Unfortunately, you cannot defense matrix the Winston Lightning. Rock, paper, scissors is a game in Overwatch, and we all love to play it. 8 together strong. Amplify keeps the pressure up against ILIAD ARTEMIS. Forced to fall back just a little bit, building up some of that ult charge. Amplify will take it in stride. Quite a few ultimates in their own. Biz isn't able to find too much. Diva out of mech. Goes up to the high ground. Ooh, a little bit off the mark. That's okay. Gap will be able to pick up the pieces up in the front line. The monkey's all alone. Biz shows up a little bit late to the party, but just in time to find their kill. And that's going to enable Amplify to keep the point moving forward. 2.5 minutes left on the clock. This is map point for Amplify. Asterisk. TM, right? They gotta win this and they gotta win it again. But ILIAD ARTEMIS cannot afford to let this go. You have to end it here. The monkey rage. And a couple of Kitsune rushes. Kitsune rush-eye, if you will. Or rush-y. And the notes are playing. Duck on Quack a little bit behind enemy lines. Nobody looks at them except for J-Man with a stray railgun. He dropped down. Amplify getting into the mix. They've abandoned the point entirely in favor of kills, and J-Man is good at racking them up. Maverick offers themselves up on top of the sacrificial altar. Amplify makes their final approach on top of that point. A lot of switches coming out from ILIAD ARTEMIS, but is it going to be enough? J-Man's on fire, able to find more than a few kills to their name. In goes Pain! Charge up that sword, but it's just not enough unless you can turn it around. You find Ewan, but nothing else. Buys time for the rest of the team to show up. ILIAD ARTEMIS fighting for their lives, fighting for this game, just trying to stop Amplify, but they've turned it all the way up, and they are ready to keep that pressure going. Gap lets loose with the monkey lightning, shining down from the sky, unlimited power! And yet, ILIAD ARTEMIS still keeps going in. They cannot stop. They will not stop until everybody and everything is dead and gone. ILIAD Artemis spawn is right outside the door. The longer that they can stall the time, the more that they can put up a fight. Finally, Amplify appears to be pushed off of the point and just are not able to get back in. It's not gonna stop him from trying though. Hey, Karay, Beyblade, let it rip. You have to find a pick, my friend, but they're just not able to get it to land. Ewan takes out Mardox. That's one support down for ILIAD Artemis. Duck on Quack trades it out, finding a couple more, but Amplify turns up the heat. Crosses that finish line and keeps it going just in time.
3-3.
Well, what do you say? What do you say to that? They had such a tough time. Amplify had such a tough time getting it initially. Because ILIAD Artemis, their defense around that first point was so solid. I was kind of surprised that they didn't put up more, or rather, didn't invest more resources into just putting out a last-ditch hold on that point. I thought maybe they felt like they didn't need to, but the push on this map, I mean, once you get through that initial section, this last push, if you have a team that can brawl, you are chilling. Deep breaths. Everybody get a drink of water. Or an Arnold Palmer, whatever you prefer. Yeah, that's a ridiculous amount of damage. Oh my gosh. J-Man is putting out just so much. The gap as well. This Winston pick did so much for Amplify.
5, 4,
Because ILIAD just never switched off of the D.Va. The D.Va was performing, but the Winston was able to get just so much free damage off, and I feel like it pairs so well with the Vendetta. Just being able to have somebody to jump in there with you, throw out the bubble. It's looking pretty solid. So Artemis looked pretty good in this hold before. But Amplify's got the sauce now. And they go straight in. They know the target. The Frey is in trouble. Amplify is broken in there. ILIAD Artemis, though, trying to put an end to it. Maverick gets picked off. Not a good start for Artemis. Ooh, not a good start for Amplify. Pain fights the pick on top of J-Man. That's a lot of DPS off the table. But it doesn't matter. They're playing on top of the point. Nobody's there to stop them. ILIAD Artemis cannot put up a fight. Pankaray jumps into the madness. Low health. Zapped away by the monkey. Try blocking that. Still fighting over this point, though. Amplify has seconds remaining. If they pick this up, it will be overtime. But ILIAD Artemis doesn't even want to give it up. They don't want to give up anything. Can you blame them? They cry for a game 5. He dropped down for Amplify, buying themselves quite a bit of time. Crazy Cat finds Maverick. The tank is dead again. But Duck on Quack, a bullet from close range, but isn't able to find the damage. Just can't get the shots off. Until finally they fall down as well. Maverick, not able to get there in time. Amplify captures the point. Now it's time to escort. But we are in overtime. Now it is well and truly about the momentum.
Let's keep it moving.
Let's take a look at that ult economy. Crazy Cat does have that Kitsune rush. ILIAD Artemis still charging up some ults of their own. Wings will be right around the corner. Mavericks as well. No one can leave that point. And the pressure is on. How much ground is ILIAD Artemis willing to give up before they make their stand? How long do you want to wait? The answer is no longer. Kitsune rush in. Pankaray looking for the picks. They cannot find it. Turn around. Back on top of the monkey. Slice and dice. But a Duck on Quack falls off the map. Pankaray and Floopy are able to find a little bit more. J-Man gets the healing that they need. Can they get the DPS? The answer? Not quite. But neither can Pankaray. Ewan and Floofy juking it out. The supports be the deciding factor. Maverick, the one left standing. So, Amplify was able to get the pick on top of the point.
switching sides.
Or the point from the point. You know what I mean? Follow along.
Initiating match.
The push for ILIAD Artemis did look pretty good the last time they did it, but the fact that that defense fell apart so quickly has me worried a little bit. Match point. This is match point. If ILIAD Artemis cannot get towards that finish line, that's it for the night. It ends on map 4. It's a first to 3, 2 to 1. We are on map 4, 4 to 3 overall. Amplify versus ILIAD ARTEMIS. And it is down to the line and down to the wire for ILIAD ARTEMIS. Look up to your pantheon and pray for your miracle. But who needs to pray when you've got the skill to back up
If we do
your
this right,
claims to
we
Olympus?
won't even know what happened.
Thanks. So what are we running with? It's always hard to tell until they walk out, but I feel like this is kind of what we're looking at here. So you got the Wu Yang, the Vendetta,
5.
a little bit of that Hanzo action, the Hazard as well.
Attackers in
I like it. I like what I'm seeing so far. But Amplify's got a pretty solid team on their side as well. Gap's actually going to be rocking that Diva pick. Switching it up on top of Artemis. Can they adapt, or is this change going to be a little bit too much to overcome? 1 minute left on the clock. Quack can't find their pick. Gaps kicks it up. And Biz looking pretty good on this Vendetta, putting a lot of pressure on top of Maverick. He's going to get picked off as well. Gap's out of mech. If you can keep her out of mech, maybe you can make something happen here, but 40 seconds left. It's going to be tough. Is it better to try to kill the baby D or to leave her out of mech until she's able to reboot? No tank available for Amplify. This is a good chance to go in. But do they know it? So close to the remech. Down she goes. The timing is good for ILIAD ARTEMIS. They just have to take this point, but it's going to be an immediate overtime the one moment that they do. No ult for Quack. J-Man railguns are out of the sky. Less than 10 seconds remaining. ILIAD ARTEMIS fighting with everything that they got. J-Man slides away. Just got to be able to find a pick or 7. Into overtime. Can't get off of the point. That means fighting gets really dangerous, gets really restrictive. Biz loves to play with that. Scorches across the battlefield. Wing ultimate there, Flum Foofy. Able to buy a little bit more time. But Marduk gets picked off. J-Man puts in the work. Duck on Quack though on this Tracer pick, able to turn it around, but is it enough? They're testing on this point. J-Man just gotta hit a hit, and they can. Amplify walks away with the night. Taking it 3-1 by a hair's breadth at the end there. I mean, holy. Oh my goodness.
This ends now.
Hey, look at this guy go.
Who's next?
Nice. Did he hit anything in that last play of the game? That was awesome. That clip does not do the justice that J-Man deserves, because let me tell you, that guy was clicking heads. Crazy damage numbies from the DPS of Amplify. ILIAD ARTEMIS was doing such a good job. They would maintain control so well, especially on push or escort or hybrid maps. They were looking really good there too. I'm sure they looked wonderful on ILIO as well. I mean, 2-0. But unfortunately, Amplify was able to adapt in the moment. I mean, the picks were always on their feet. I really appreciated the way that Gap, especially Gap and J-Man, constantly changing picks, constantly seeing what's working, and when it worked, they stuck with it, and it just nailed it. Gap being able to flex from Sigma over to Winston, the Diva at the end as well, knowing that you're gonna be a little bit more of an aggressive positioning. So I really liked everything there that they were doing. ILIAD ARTEMIS too looked solid. Unfortunately, when the teams are as even as they are, it really does come down to just some of the small decision making and everything like that. So laurels to ILIAD ARTEMIS, laurels to Amplify, and congratulations to Amplify for winning out the night tonight and showing us a solid set. I mean, that was just beautiful. That was good. I love me some Overwatch too. So once again, thank you all for joining us here. My name is still Musey. I'm joined here by Hippie and Head Rammer, making sure that we even had a chance to see any of the sick, awesome plays that we were able to get our eyes on today. Again, congratulations and well played to all the players tonight. Both teams looked pretty freaking fantastic. So I got to give everybody their shout outs. But for us here at ILIAD Esports, that's going to be all that we have for you tonight. Be sure to keep your eye to the sky and make sure you see the little ILIAD bat signal. We don't use a bat, we use a different animal. You'll know it when you see it. You'll see it up there. It'll be like, that's the one. That's the ILIAD signal. I know it. And when you see that signal, you come right back here. So that means we got some more Overwatch 2 gameplay for you to sit in on and check out. But until then, stay hydrated. We'll see you next time.